Greatness is about discovering the unique talents and gifts inside of you to pursue your dreams, and in that pursuit, making the maximum impact on the people around you. I truly believe that gratitude and generosity are the gateway to abundance. Anytime you're in pain, it's because something's out of alignment. Are the actions, the thoughts, the beliefs I'm having supporting my life to feel better or not?
Welcome to Showing Up with Andy Grammer, the corner of the internet where we show up for what matters most. Today we have Lewis Howes. He is a 3-time New York Times bestselling author, including his newest book, Make Money Easy, and the powerhouse host behind one of the top 100 podcasts in the world, The School of Greatness. He is a great friend and an even greater guest. You're going to enjoy this. Lewis Howes. Lewis, how are you, buddy?
My man.
I remember it was a long time ago that I was on your podcast.
What was that, 8 years ago maybe? 7, 8 years ago?
It might be 8 years ago, but I remember the presence that you brought to me.
Oh, man.
I still remember that always.
The physical gifts or the intentional
No, you like
gifts?
sat with me and you just like create a little space and you're like, I want to intentionally honor that you're here and thank you for giving me your space and all this stuff. And I remember even being like, that guy's pretty cool.
That's
like I
good.
really like that
that's
guy.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the intention, the space that I want to create here is for all the people that are listening, is you just have you've really taken in a lot of information from a lot of people. You have one of the best, most successful podcasts of all time. And I want to help as many people listening on how they can show up for themselves or for greatness or, you know. And so I had a bunch of questions, but then I just found words that I really enjoy that you touch on. So I think that's how I'm going to do this. Is just go down words.
Awesome.
Because these words are like, in one sense, very basic and almost self-helpy to some degree.
Yep.
But then if you actually put the energy into sitting with them, then there's a lot of like value in them.
Yeah.
So first, let's just go with greatness because that seems to be your word. What does that mean?
Oh, man. For me, greatness is about discovering the unique talents and gifts inside of you to pursue your dreams. And in that pursuit, making the maximum impact on the people around you.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about this off camera. It's like God gave me gifts. He gave you gifts and talents. Some things we knew, some things we had to discover in the pursuit of something that we were interested in, like an idea, art, music, sports, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And I think in that pursuit, achieve it or not, it really doesn't matter. It's how do we treat people around us on a moment by moment basis? How do we treat the people closest to us, strangers, and also how do we treat ourselves? Because there's a lot of people in the world who would treat others kind, but they don't know how to treat themselves kind. They're giving to others, but they don't know how to give to themselves.
Yeah.
And it's learning how to do that in all levels.
And step one of the greatness journey, at least for me, I don't know, was it for you the step one was just achieving?
100%, yeah. Make money.
Don't worry about anything
Make
else.
money,
Just
achieve,
like everything will work.
Win at life. Conquer.
Dominate.
Dominate. Yeah, it was like, it was sport. Well, you know, a lot of us driven individuals come from a wounded place of something's missing.
I don't like it when you say that, but I know it's true. Go on.
I mean, a lot of us who are driven come from a wound, some type of wound, whether it was, and it doesn't mean you went through some traumatic thing, but there might be, maybe you just felt neglect by a parent. Maybe you just felt picked on by a sibling. Like, it doesn't mean you went through extreme abuse and you were like an orphan. That's not what it means.
Yeah.
But you might have the feeling of, no one cares about me. No one likes me. They like my older brother, older sister more than me. She's prettier than me. He's better than me. Whatever it is, they're getting more attention somewhere else, validated for something, and I'm not getting it. It might be as simple as that. Not that that's nothing. And that causes a little fracture in our emotional energy and our psychology that says, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable enough. And if I'm not enough, who will ever be with me? Who will ever accept me? Who will ever love me? And it's just this little wound that tends to just expand. And with driven individuals, we're usually running from that wound to try to heal it. But the more we accomplish, the more we succeed, the more we win at life, the bigger of a hole it seems to be. Because that doesn't fix it. That doesn't heal it. That doesn't accomplish what we're really chasing or running from. And that's what I did for a long time. It was like sports was my thing, and I need to accomplish, and I need to win, and I need to be the best. And if I lose, I'm a failure, and therefore no one's going to love me.
Yeah.
So, and then that turned into...
And you actually equate it that way, but without saying it.
Yeah, you don't say it. You just feel it. You're like, you're just angry when you lose.
Yeah.
And you're just will do anything to win, whatever it might be. Okay, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to be bigger, faster, stronger. I'll put in the reps, which really looks good. Like, okay, he's willing to work hard. He's willing to hustle. He's willing to sacrifice his body or time or whatever to get the result. And that is part of the process of what we need to do to, I guess, accomplish something.
Yeah.
And there's really two different energies I feel like we can create from: a place of a wound, or a place of not enoughness, or a place of anger that's kind of driving us. For me, that fuel is the second most powerful fuel to create anything.
Yeah, it works.
It works, and it works extremely well. You know, I created from a space of anger, not enoughness. I'll never amount to anything. So I'm going to prove people wrong by showing them, right? And I did it in all these different things, sports, business, whatever it might be. But I never felt like, I still felt like something was wrong with me. Like, why am I still not feeling good enough, even though I'm accomplishing all these things that people think are cool?
Yeah.
Or even that I think is cool.
Totally.
Why am I still not feeling enough? And then I realized once I started to reflect and look inward and say, okay, why am I feeling this way? And I start to reflect on these things and start the healing journey. I realized, oh, there's a much more powerful energy called love that we can create from. And when we create from this space, we can create so much more sustainable energy, and we can impact people from a different space. And if you see someone who's driven to accomplish, but you know deep down there's just pain and wounds that are not yet resolved, and anger deep down, and then you see someone who has maybe had those same wounds but been on a healing journey, and they know they have those scars, but they're willing to create from a place of trust, love, knowing that they're going to take care of themselves no matter what. Even if they fail, they're still going to be okay. There's just a different energy in that person's face, in their aura.
100%.
And I think it's way more sustainable to create from a space of love. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to be perfectly loving human beings every moment, and we're not going to have moments of frustration and pain and resentment, but it's just having the awareness to go back to that space at any moment.
Was there a point in your journey where you felt the shift?
Yeah, I was 30 years old. Was just about to turn 30 years old, and I felt like I had accomplished so much that I was looking to create from my whole childhood in sports and then in business. You know, I was broke for many years, and then I made $1 million in a year, and I was like, I should be the happiest guy in the world, but I'm kind of miserable.
This is the thing nobody wants. It's like the worst. Anytime that like a successful person goes like, it's not it, the rest of the world goes like, okay.
But it is it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I was broke on my sister's couch for a year and a half. I didn't know what I was meant to do with my life. I had no direction. I had no purpose. I had no college degree at the time. And I was recovering from an injury playing arena football where I broke my wrist. And this is in 2007, 2008, and 2009 when the economy was crashing. And I was just like, what do I do with my life? I have no clue. And over the next few years, I started to learn online marketing, online business, and really study and apply myself to learning new skills. I was telling you off camera that I spent a year every single week learning public speaking.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stand in front of a group of 5 people without being nervous, sweating, and stuttering when they asked me a question. Literally, I couldn't do this. And I just knew that my biggest fear was the thing holding me back. And if I could overcome any of the fears that I had inside of me, psychological fears, then I could actually accomplish my dreams. And so I just created a list of all my big fears, and public speaking was one of them. And then I said, I'm going all in on this fear until the fear disappears. And that's what I did. And I've been doing that for the last, 18 years now.
You still do it regularly?
I still, yes.
I was just listening to the book in the car, and
Yes.
and the part came on the audiobook of like write out your fears, and I was like, I gotta pull over.
I'm not
and do
necessarily writing them out anymore because I feel like I do it all the time. It's more of like, okay, what is the thing I'm resisting? What is the uncomfortable conversation I don't want to have? I need to do it.
that. I need to do
So
it.
it's almost like doing the thing I resist the most as fast as possible. It's like, who do I need to create a boundary with that I feel uncomfortable? How do I continue to like stop people pleasing from the past like I used to? I have to keep showing up for me. And so it's a constant reminder of like, whatever is uncomfortable, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next word I have, which I really enjoyed the chapter in your book, is identity.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me a little bit about identity versus strategy, and then I really love the victim, hero, guide, villain thing too.
Yeah, I just feel like how we perceive ourselves is our identity. Dr. Joe Dispenza says our personality is our personal reality. So who you view yourself as your personality that becomes your personal reality. So if I say, if my
And
identity
it's very
is,
complicated.
it is, or you can simplify it. Now, if I just say my personality is, or my identity is that no one loves me. My identity is that I'm unlovable. My identity is that like nothing good ever happens for me. Like it's so much harder for me to get an opportunity than that person. If that is my self-talk and my self-belief and my identity of who I am in the world versus what I'm experiencing in the world in this season, when I identify as that thing,
Oh, interesting.
it becomes so much harder to experience life.
Yeah.
But when I identify as if I think and believe when I walk in the room, people want to do good things for me. When I walk in the room, people want to find opportunities for me to succeed. When I leave a room, people say good things about me behind my back. You know, when I show up this way, more people think about how they can help me. Like if I think and believe it,
Yes.
that becomes my reality. I start to see it more often.
And now, do you feel that that's how you're living right now?
100%. Yeah.
That's
No,
great.
I know. I think very intentionally, because I know identity is the foundation for everything in life. That doesn't mean I don't have negative thoughts or bad thoughts or resentful thoughts or angry thoughts at times. But I know quickly that's not going to serve my future self. Like my future self who has dreams, goals, desires, and who has a healthy body, a healthy life, a full, rich, abundant life, cannot think those things that long. Because if I do, I know it'll affect everything about me, my energy, my heart, my emotions. It'll make me breathe shorter as opposed to more relaxed. It'll make me eat more sugar and foods as opposed to eating healthier stuff. Like I'll be creating from a space of a wound rather than wholeness.
Is there a way to practice this? Because I feel like this is one of those interesting cruxes where someone listening is going like 100%.
Yeah.
And probably someone else is going like, what are you talking about? You
Yeah.
just start thinking that way?
I think you have to think it day by day as opposed to thinking long term. And for me, I really try to structure my morning right away. Like when I woke up this morning, I listened to the Hollow app and I pray with my wife and I just say thank you. I wake up and I say thank you, God. Thank you, God, for another day. And the science, whether you believe in God or not, you actually don't need to. The science just says if you pray daily, it improves your life. And I had this behavioral psychologist come on the show actually recently who never believed in God. He just believes in science and research. But when he was studying for his new book about kind of beliefs, he was like, I started to pray just because the research shows it improves the quality of your life.
Interesting.
I actually don't know what I'm praying to, and it's actually not even about that. But I have different prayers for my family, for my wife, and for myself when I feel overwhelmed. Because the science just proves, the research proves, it improves the quality of your life. So it doesn't even mean you have to know everything. You don't have to know, like, is there a God? Is there not a God? Which religion should I be in? Which not? Just being thankful on a daily basis is going to help you, your health, your mind, and your relationships. So I really think in the morning of like waking up and saying thank you right away to God. Thank you, God, for another day. Did you know that 150,000 people today, Andy, will die? In the world, 150,000 people every single day die.
Wow.
So if we have that understanding, on average, if we have that understanding, I'm not one of those people today. I woke up, any moment, our lives could be over. Any moment, for any reason. We hope that we get to live till we're 80, 90, 100. We hope. But at any moment, it could be over. I hope it's not. And I think that perspective for me, when I wake up and I say, wow, this is actually a gift to have another day to wake up when 150,000 people today did not wake up. So for me, identity, it starts with this, I hate the word awareness because it's what everyone says, but it is a reflection of your perception of you're not guaranteed this next moment, but we have it. It should be something we're grateful for. And it doesn't mean we have to be appreciating all the pain and suffering at the same time that we're going through. But I think the more I focus on what I'm grateful for, that expands. I truly believe that gratitude and generosity are the gateway to abundance. And for me, it's as simple as that. Something we said off camera probably 3 or 4 times before we got in here is you just keep showing up and giving to people. This is something that I do. This is something that you do. And the more we give for free
This is
and say yes.
the number one hack in my whole life.
And you show up. You're like, yeah, I
So
just
this
showed
morning,
up. Yes.
I got up really early. I went to the studio to work on some music before I came in here. I was like leaving my house like 5. I stopped by Starbucks. And I'm in a fortunate position where I have a little bit extra. And so the guy behind me, I'm just going to pay for his coffee. And it's like so early and he's in like a truck, kind of like a burly guy.
Yeah. Was it drive-through?
It was drive-through.
Oh, cool.
And so I paid for it. And then as I'm pulling away, I hear a honk. And just like this big burly guy's like, appreciate you.
It's great, man.
Right? And now I was a little bit tired when I woke up. But then after that small little interaction, I'm just like, well, the world is pretty good. The world is a pretty good place. And if you can, it is kind of a judo mind trick that what you're looking for does just show up a lot more. And in my identity, there's many things about the negative side of my identity that I think I probably call in consistently.
Yes.
But on my social life and in my day-to-day life, my identity is like, I'm going to just interact. Like I'm going to run into a bunch of good today.
Yes. That's
like,
it.
I genuinely think that.
If you say it and think it, I guarantee
I'm going to run into the best
something.
Parts of people today.
And
that's what's running in my,
And what's going to happen is you may not run into it. You're going to create it.
Yeah.
You don't have to like say, oh, someone's going to come up to me and give me a hug. You're going to generate it by creating that feeling. And then someone's going to reflect that feeling back to you and say, see, everyone loves me. Everyone's happy. Everyone's in a good mood. Or I can bring positivity to new people. And I think we've got to bring the joy, bring the creativity, bring the energy if we want to receive that as well. We can't just say, okay, God, universe, world, like show me a sign that I'm lovable today or something. And it's like, bring love and you will find an abundance of it in return. And I would challenge anyone watching or listening, if you just remember one thing from this episode, that gratitude and generosity are the gateway to abundance. If that's all you have and you write that down and you just remember that saying, gratitude and generosity are the gateway to abundance, and you do one challenge today, you say, I'm going to be grateful every hour on the hour. I'm just going to say, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for whatever. Thank you for this cup of coffee. Thank you for this moment with my friend. Thank you for this text I got from someone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you give 10 moments of generosity throughout this day to people you know, people you don't know, it doesn't matter. By the end of the day, you're going to feel like you can run through a wall. You're going to feel so abundantly energized. You're going to feel so good about you. And if you just repeat this thing on a daily basis, it doesn't have to be 10 people a day, but if you repeat that energy will become your new identity because you are what you repeatedly do. Now, if you fall back into old patterns of like, no one loves me and I'm a failure and I'm miserable and I don't have anything, that's going to become your identity. Your personality is your personal reality, based on what my friend Dr. Joe Dispenza says. And I just truly believe that when you step into giving and gratitude, it will all shift.
The moment currently in my life where I feel the most aligned with what you're saying, I'm working to get it better in the morning, but for sure every night when I lay down with my daughters to put them to sleep, there is just like a deep gratitude.
Yes.
I say to God every single night, and they hear me say it every night, which is just like, I don't know how I got this, but I am eternally grateful that I am like holding both my daughters in the bed right now. I'm just like, oh my God, so great. And in that moment, I'm back in presence and gratitude.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a great way to end every single day.
That's beautiful.
Very lucky. Another interesting word here is worth, which I don't, do you struggle the same way that I struggle just around some of these words? And you know, for me, I make music that is hopefully positive, and even that word makes me want to throw up. I think the word worth.
The word positive makes you want to throw up?
Sometimes because I'm a little bit insecure that people won't get how
what deep it is?
How deep it is.
Yeah.
It can seem like surfacey in a way.
What's another word that would make it?
Yeah. Positive doesn't do it enough for me.
Then what? Empowering?
Empowering, yeah. I don't know. But all these words come with a little bit of fluffiness to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what's a word that would serve you better?
I got to work on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But get into worth a little bit, because and I'll let you know right off the bat, I'm a little like,
You don't like the word worth?
I do. I just, maybe it's my own internal
Self-worth.
issues with it.
Well, here's
where
the
it
thing.
feels like self-helpy, but I know there's value in it.
I mean,
so
every word
unlock
can be
it for me.
Every word can be interpreted as, negative or positive, or
Yes.
self-help or this or that,
Yeah,
or whatever. But for me, I try to make it as simple as possible. Does something support me or not? Is something helping me get closer to feeling lovable and enough or not? Is something helping me accomplish my dreams and live on purpose or not?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I think. And the idea of worth, I didn't have any self-worth for most of my life. And I was chasing a feeling of having it by accomplishment, like we talked about.
Okay,
right?
and that gives you some, or it's not even worth.
It gave me some, but there was...
When you're crushing it in football, you feel something.
It gave me a sense of confidence, yes. It gave me a sense of confidence, but underneath, I still knew that I was a scared little boy. Like, underneath the big, strong, accomplishing, all-star athlete, inside, but you're still a little boy. You're still unlovable. You still had all this abuse happen to you. And if people actually knew, no one would love you. Mm. So there was still this, okay, they see this part of you, this mask that you're wearing, that you're portraying to the world, but they don't know really you. And if they did know you, would they actually accept you? So I knew that. No one else knew that, but I knew that. So I still inside didn't feel like I had self-worth. I had external confidence, and I could portray confidence.
Yes.
But I didn't own confidence. I wasn't confident. You see what I'm saying?
Totally different, yeah.
And I would be defensive if someone ever questioned my confidence. You know what I mean? It was like, now I have to defend my confidence, because if they try to hit my wound spot, I'm going to come at you. And when you're triggered by something, there's still a wound. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you or something's bad. I still get triggered today, right? It's not like I'm triggerless. But I notice it, and I'm like, okay, why did this person hit something inside of me? And how can I respond to it differently than just rage, like I used to when I was younger?
Totally.
How can I approach this with wisdom? And so self-worth for me, I didn't have it. And I have this thing in the book called the doubt diagram. Okay. This goes back to worth.
Yes.
And I'd love for you to do this exercise, and everyone else at home do this exercise.
All right.
So imagine there's 3 causes of why we doubt ourselves. 3 main causes. The first one is the fear of failure. And a lot of people, when I go and speak into a room, or I'll say it here, and I say, raise your hand if you've ever been afraid to fail. Most people in a room will raise their hand. Yes, I've been afraid to fail, right? As an athlete growing up, and for some reason, I feel like you don't have that in you, because if you were afraid to fail, you wouldn't go to the 3rd Street Promenade every day for 6 hours a day for 4
I'm waiting
years.
for whatever the next 2 are. Fear of failure is usually not my...
That's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're like, no, I'm just going to keep showing up, and I fail every day, but I'm learning and I'm growing. And as an athlete, you're failing every day in practice. Yeah. You're missing a shot, you're striking out, you're whatever. It's like, it's part of the sport.
Part of it.
Yeah. So I knew failure was just feedback. It was information of what I needed to learn to accomplish.
Oh my God,
the goal.
everybody, if you're listening to that, take that. Do you think some people are more genetically... The older that I've gotten, the more I'm like, I don't even know how much of what I've done. I feel, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm 6 feet tall, and that's why it's a little bit better at basketball. I feel like that fear of failure thing just wasn't my issue.
That's good.
So I don't even.
So you didn't doubt yourself out of the fear of failure, right? And so as an athlete, it didn't make sense for me, but a lot of people raise their hand out of fear of failure, right? And the second fear that causes people to doubt themselves is the fear of success. And as an athlete, I had big goals and dreams that I wanted to accomplish, because I thought when I accomplish them, then I'll be lovable and I'll feel better about myself. Then I'll have friends and people will like me. It was so I wanted to accomplish and succeed. So that wasn't my fear. But when you ask people, raise your hand if you've been afraid to succeed, a lot of people actually raise their hand as well. And there's an amazing documentary called The Weight of Gold, which is about Olympic medalists who spend 10, 20 years of their life training for one thing, one 10-second event or one-day event at the Olympics, and they accomplish their biggest dreams. And it documents all these Olympians within 3 to 6 months afterwards who either commit suicide, go through extreme depression,
wow,
waste their life away, become alcoholics, all these things. And they documented this. It's talking about this weight of gold, right? It's like, what is the saying? Like, heavy is the head that wears the crown or whatever. It's like, there's a pressure that you're not taught. There's a responsibility that you're not taught growing up. When you're trying to accomplish something, you're not taught the skill set on how to hold that accomplishment, how to hold the platinum recording artist title, how to hold the New York Times bestseller, how to hold the million, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's closer to me.
Okay.
I would be I'm more afraid of, it almost gets like to some spiritual thing of like, if you are
you deserving,
super successful, are you going to turn into an asshole?
Ah, yes.
Or are you going to not be, are some of your spiritual truths going to not be as big or something like that?
It goes back into your beliefs and your identity.
Yeah.
Like, are wealthy people assholes? You know?
Yeah.
Some are.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. But if you've been conditioned,
yes,
because you didn't have money growing up, that, these people did bad things to get money, or they hurt people, or they screwed their employees over, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If that's what we were told and were believed, that becomes our reality, our personal reality. And so then we sabotage ourselves from wanting to be a bad person if that is tied to making money.
Yeah.
And so therefore we say, I want the money, but I don't want the money. I want to be psychologically and financially free, but not at the cost of being a horrible person.
Totally.
And so we sabotage based on that.
All right, let's see. What's the third one? Because that's the most like me currently.
So fear of failure and fear of success. Those two were not mine, because I understood failure was feedback and I understood success is what I wanted, but not necessarily why. I didn't have the right reasons why I wanted it, but it wasn't a fear. The third one was my entire life, which is the fear of judgment. I was afraid of what other people are going to think or say. Are they really going to accept you? Are they really going to like you? What if you say the wrong thing and they judge you? What if you do the wrong things and you're being judged? So I was what we call, a massive people pleaser most of my life. That was a wound of mine. And I was always worried what people thought. And I would always ask and make sure everything was okay. Again, because I didn't really have that many friends growing up, so I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to belong. So this is part of my wound. And the fear of judgment is big. And there are so many people out there that I talk to who have had a big dream to either write a book or create an album or put their music out into the world. There's probably tons of artists that make it for themselves, but they never record it and launch it. And you're like, just put it up on Spotify. Just make a recording. It doesn't have to be mixed or any edited. Just like put something out there, and they won't do it because they're so afraid they need it to be perfect, or they're afraid what their peers will think or their parents will think. Their judgment is so heavy that they don't take action at all, and they let their dreams pass by for years or potentially decades. For me, that's like one of the biggest, I want to call it crime, but it's like one of the biggest like internal crimes you can commit is knowing you have a gift and not putting it out there because of one of these three fears. And at the center of all three of these fears, the fear of failure, the fear of success, and the fear of judgment, literally just goes to I am not enough. It's the center of these fears, the root of these fears. And this goes back to worth. You asked about worth, right? So when we can identify which fear of ours is holding us back the most, it just creates a little bit of awareness on, okay, this is where I'm at. That means this is the thing I need to lean into. If I'm afraid of failure, I need to lean into that. If it's success, I need to start experiencing some little successes and see how that feels. See how I can navigate these emotions, like the psychology of this, so I can understand, all right, if I want more, I need to be able to handle what I have right now. Mm-hmm. Because if someone just all of a sudden gives me more money and I don't know what to do with it, I'm going to sabotage it. You're not going to be ready for it. So we need to go through seasons of preparing. And that's why I really love this practice of creating a fear list so you can become fearless by going all in on that fear. So whatever the insecurity is, like that's the work you get to do.
And talk to me a little bit, because you brought the other book. What's the name of the book about money?
Make Money Easy. For me, I grew up not having a lot of money. And then my father got into a pretty bad car accident where he had a kind of a brain trauma, and he was in a coma for 3 months when I was 21 years old. And he was always kind of the one who said, listen, go chase your dreams. And when you're done, you can come like work for me. He was an insurance salesman, right?
Okay.
He didn't have money growing up, but then when I turned about 16, he started to make some more, right? So it wasn't like he was crushing it, but we weren't poor anymore. And so he said, like, go chase the sport dream, go do the thing. And when you're done, like, you can come do insurance for me. But he was always like my financial safety net. You know, he was like, okay, I can go do this thing. And if I make it or fail, he'll be there to catch me. When he got into his accident, he was no longer able to work, and he kind of had to sell his business, and he wasn't really emotionally or psychologically here anymore. Physically he was here, but he was like a child emotionally. Wow. So it was this devastating time.
How old were you?
21. So it was a devastating time because my dad was physically alive, but emotionally dead.
Your man year.
He was gone. I couldn't rely on him to have any conversations. Oof. Every time I saw him, I had to remind him who I was. Yeah. And so it was just kind of like, oh, he can't be there for me spiritually, emotionally, physically, or financially anymore. What do I do? So I was living in this kind of insecurity around finances. I didn't know how to make money. And there was a wound there of insecurity. So my relationship with money at the time, I was telling you before, was like, I just need to make as much as I can to not feel like I'm broke and going to be scarce and poor, right? I lived on my sister's couch for 1.5 years. And I didn't feel good in my mid-20s living that way. I didn't feel like I was a man, you know, living off my sister. So when I started to make money, I realized that I still took things very personally around money. Like if someone didn't appreciate something I did with money, I would get like angry, or I felt like someone was stealing from me. It was like very triggering, my relationship with money and other people. If family members were always asking me for money, I was like, it just didn't feel good. So I had to learn how to heal these money wounds that I had. And it's just constantly going deeper. Whatever the thing is not supporting you, that's where you need to go all in on. So this was just another level of, okay, I learned how to make money. I became good at making it, but I didn't feel good about
I can't wait to read this other book. Are there specific money wounds?
Oh yeah, there's different money wounds. And I think it's you just reflecting on, you know, here's an example. And I know you probably have your own relationship with money, and it's different now.
My wife makes fun of me every time. Not fun. Right. She just jabs at me about, I have plenty of that stuff.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And it's probably different now than when you were, you know, day by day in the promenade. Yeah. You know, busking for $50 to $500, whatever you got a day. I don't know. What was your best day you got? Do you remember?
So you could sell CDs. Want to get into the minutiae of it? Yeah. I mean,
donations, CDs.
Usually, I would do it by weekend, and you could. The best ones were like $2,500 or something.
That's pretty big.
Yeah,
that's great.
Oh, yeah.
But what was the worst day?
Zero.
Yeah.
Many 0 days.
And you just kept showing up.
Which is so funny what you're talking about. When it comes to that didn't.
And why did you keep going?
But that didn't hurt. That was like, oh, okay, that's more, like you're saying, that's more information.
And why didn't you keep going?
I learned a new thing. I learned a new,
So most people would go for a few days and get zero, and they would stop.
Yeah, for some reason it didn't hit my like worth button.
That's good.
It just goes like, oh, okay, I'm not good yet.
That's good.
I'm bad today.
Yeah, it's good.
And tomorrow I'll be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then a little bit better and a little bit better.
Here's an exercise for you and for anyone watching or listening. Imagine money as a person, right? Just a hypothetical, like your idea of money, like your whole life story around money, and money's idea is in a body, you know? And it's got dollar bills all over it. Just imagine that, right? It's got $100 bills wrapped around this person called money. And imagine infinite wealth is in this person, right? This idea of money. And imagine that person walks through the door right now and just stands right in front of us. This idea of money in a person. And they walk in and you know it represents unlimited money. What is your first reaction? What would you say to money if it walked in the door? How would you feel? Would you feel anything? Money walks in the door.
I've worked through some of this, but my initial thought would be, that's not my person. My initial, like, before I worked through a lot of I'd be like, oh, that's a scary guy.
Interesting. Why?
What? It comes down to money's the root of all evil. I think I have some like weird tripped wires around spirituality and money that I've tried to work through. Just a fear that that it has the ability to take your eye off the ball of what's important in life.
Interesting.
Which I think there can be multiple truths.
100%.
There's having had some success and being around a lot of different people that have made a lot of money, I realized in person that like, oh, you're a great person. And this is something that I really got to shake off.
Interesting.
You know, what is yours now? The guy.
So
walks in. The girl walks in.
Is
or
that
whatever.
still? Is that still? I'll share it in a second. But is that still a?
No,
Now,
I
is
think
that-
I think if money walked in today, it would be like, really nice to meet you. I'd like to learn as much as you have to teach me.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
a little different now.
A little different.
But is there any of that still in you?
Yeah,
It's like
100%,
from
totally.
like, hey, you're not my person.
Well, like we'll hang out right now, but I don't want to hang out with you later.
Interesting. Yeah.
We're not, like when we're really just like letting our shoulders down and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
having
yeah.
dinner.
Let's
I
get
don't
outta
know that
here.
you're supposed to be here with me, right?
So it's interesting. I've been asked a lot of people this question when I was writing this book and just researching. And I asked someone in their late 20s, I said, you're at a bar, you're at a restaurant, you're sitting down, money walks in the door, what do you do? And she said, I would get out of my table, run to the bar for the restaurant, hide from money. And then if it came up to me, I would act nice to its face, and then I would talk about it behind its back. This is literally what she said to me. And I was like, gosh, that's so interesting.
That is really interesting.
And this is an artist also who struggles making money.
Yeah.
And I go, there's no right or wrong here of your response. It's just an exercise for you to reflect
Awareness.
and say, okay, is that supporting me, that relationship, or not? Like, do I want to have a different relationship with money? Maybe it doesn't need to be sitting on your lap all day, money,
Yeah.
but can I feel at peace when the idea of abundance of money comes to me? That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying you have to make billions of dollars or millions of dollars, whatever, but can I feel comfortable holding that energy, the idea of money? Or can I have comfortable people wanting to give me $1 million or 20,000 or 100,000? Like, can I receive that? If so, cool. If not, okay, cool too. It's just, does it serve your life to have a negative relationship with money? To have this belief that money is the root of all evil, like you said, or to have this, I don't know, I'd kind of you literally did this.
I know.
Like, get away from me. So if we want to feel psychologically, spiritually, physically, and financially free.
Yeah, I think now we're doing. This is a therapy session for sure.
No, it's just a
But
reflection.
of the three that you said, I think there's also a fear of judgment. There's a deep fear of judgment that would then create distance between humans.
Why?
The thing I care most about in the world is that I feel connected to you.
Okay.
And so sometimes in my life, I can feel that money will hinder that connection.
Why?
Maybe that's self-imposed is what your why is implying.
Well, it goes back to identity. It goes back to worth. It goes back to beliefs. And it's
Yeah.
not to say that any identity, belief, or worth is right or wrong or good or bad. Is it supporting you in feeling emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially free?
Yeah.
Is it supporting you in creating deeper relationships or distant relationships? Is it supporting
Well, as we're talking, I'm attaching a lot of things to it that I believe as I'm
course.
saying it, and then you're questioning. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't totally believe all that.
Well, it doesn't matter.
To me, money comes with status
Uh-huh.
and a lot of other things that I don't want to have involved in a connection with somebody else.
Okay.
That's
Is
what
there a way?
scares me.
Is there a way to have? Do you want to have money in your life?
Yes.
Do you,
And I've been very blessed, and I fight this battle with myself all the time. Can it be clean? And I think it can.
is it as opposed to what, dirty?
Yeah, there's a genuine.
dirty
I have
money?
a real suspicion around it, and
So-
I think it's because of the way I grew
So
up.
let me ask you a question. If you're a very talented artist. I mean, how many platinum times are you?
I've been very lucky.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
You sold millions of albums, or I guess it's not sold anymore, but downloads,
Yeah.
whatever you call it. But you tour all over the world. You sell out places, like all this stuff, right? And you've made a good amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel bad about the money you made?
No,
You don't feel bad.
no.
If
Especially in the way that it's been made,
Yes.
it feels very.
Okay.
That feels.
if
clean
you were able
me.
to continue to make empowering music that helps people live better, heal, connect to people better, if you're able to create that and you were able to generate 1,000 times the amount of money you've made so far, how would that feel?
That sounds cool and scary.
Why is it scary?
I think it just comes down to your capacity. That if you have too much, then you are also you should really be using it for something else. bigger. And I guess
what is too much, and and why not? What does using it for something else mean?
You're really.
What is too much? Is $10 million in the bank too much?
Oh my gosh!
Is $100 million in the bank too much? There's no right or wrong here.
It is really interesting though that if this is going on inside me, there's no way that it wouldn't affect how I'm living and how
it's
my
affecting your relationships, for sure. And if anything, it's affecting your relationship with yourself.
Is yours just like endless?
I'm working through it constantly.
Money walks in. What do you say?
I'd be excited. I think in the past I would have been scared because I wouldn't have understood it.
Yes.
I'd be like, I don't understand you. I don't know how to make you. I don't know how to spend you. I don't know how to invest you. I don't know how to do my taxes with you. I'm scared.
Yeah.
That's how I would have felt. And I've been constantly educating myself over the last 15 plus years about money to feel less scared.
Yeah.
And today, I have a successful business. I've made millions of dollars. I feel blessed that I get to make money. And I still don't know a lot about money. Like, even though I've studied it, I almost feel like I know way less. Like, I'm still a beginner.
Yeah.
The more you learn, it's like the less you know.
You know
what I mean? So I'm kind of like, but I feel safer with it. And it's because for the last 15 years, and I made a conscious decision once I started making money, not just month to month money, but like, I've got money for a few years now. I didn't feel good just making it for me within that first year and a half, 2 years. I was like, now that I'm physically safe, like I can pay my rent for the next year or two, I need to find something I care about where I can give. And this has been a positive trigger for me where every year I'm giving. There's a great organization I give to. I told you off camera. I invest in kids' education. There's a great organization called Pencil to Promise that I invest in every year where I'm building schools, not in America, but in places where kids don't even have school, right? And I'm investing in the growth of that nourishment. For me, that feels good to put my time, attention, and resources because I struggled in school. I was in the bottom of my class, but at least I had a place to go. A lot of kids in the world don't have a place to go. So it's just one thing that I try to invest more of my time and energy into serving where I know I'm making money. It's helping me. I'm helping my team. I'm helping my community. I'm putting on events to bring people together for free. It's like I'm spending money to bring value to other people in the way that I like to do it. And I'm also donating to things that I care about. Right?
Yeah, it's the whole idea of like tithing.
Exactly, it is.
It cleans it.
And I give money every week to my church, and it's like I'm doing these things. So it's not just how do I hoard more money for myself.
Yeah.
And I had a interesting relationship around that. It was also hard for me to give originally because I was like, what if I go broke? I had to learn how to heal all these kind of psychological wounds around money, and it's a constant journey. It's not like I have it. But again, if money walked in the room, I'd be excited about it. I'd be asking it questions. I'd be saying, how can we use you more for good? I'd be saying, like, what can we do to help solve this problem together? I'd be thinking of collaboration.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, how can we impact more lives together? I'd be getting excited.
Yeah.
Let's have possibility conversations. Let's create together. Let's serve. And give me some as well. It's like, I'd be like, hey. But that's what I'd be thinking.
The next word on my list is healing, which I think we've talked a decent amount about. Yeah. Is there any thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, healing's a journey. And so this is not like, okay, you have one magical moment event and you're all of a sudden healed, although that is a possibility. I believe it's yes and. It's like you can have healing from something in any moment when your body and your mind link back into alignment and link back into harmony. Because everything is really just disease, it's just disharmony, it's out of alignment. So when your mind and your beliefs and your identity link back with your nervous system and your body, and it owns itself, it reclaims itself mentally, physically, spiritually, boom, I really believe like healing starts to happen. Anytime you're in pain, it's because something's out of alignment.
Yes.
It's essentially what it is. If you're having a headache, it's usually because your thought is out of alignment, right? Or it's like you're allowing something to hurt you mentally and it's causing pressure in your brain, right? Mm-hmm. If you break your arm, your bone is out of alignment and you need to reset it and then allow it to heal. That takes time, right?
Yeah.
Until it strengthens. And if you didn't reset your arm and it was broken, you'd be in pain forever, and you would never be able to use that functionally. So how do we expect to be able to live a functional life if things are out of alignment spiritually, psychologically, financially, relationally, sexually, emotionally? And if anything is out of alignment, we're going to feel off somewhere. So this is not about, again, right or wrong, good or bad, or what decision you should make. It's not about self-help or not self-help. This is about, are the actions, the thoughts, the beliefs I'm having supporting my life to feel better or not? It's really about what it is. And to make me more connected to people or less connected. Do I feel like I'm on the right path to accomplishing what I want or not? Do I have more friction or less friction? That's really what it is for me. I try to simple all these things down to, do I feel enough? Do I feel peaceful? Do I feel harmonious? And it doesn't mean I'm not going to go through challenge or stress or pain. Like, you will still go through those things. And those are the things that will make you grow. But do I, at the end of the night, kind of look myself in the mirror and look myself in the eyes and say, yeah, you're doing a good job. And I like you. And I love you. And it's, keep going.
Yeah.
Or are you like, my life is a mess, and why is this, my relationship is broken, and I don't have any money, and I lost my job. Like, there's something that's out of alignment. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. You just have to get back into alignment.
And the best way you've experienced
healing. Healing is the best way.
The best way to get to that is therapy. The best way. What have you?
Whatever way works for you. It could be listening to this and say, oh yeah, I'm out of alignment. Let me stop doing these things that are causing me to do this. Let me stop gambling. Let me stop watching porn. Let me stop eating sugary foods that make me fat. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let me stop lying to myself. Let me stop committing to things to people and then backing out on them. You know, every time you break your word, you're essentially breaking your trust within yourself and other people. It's a little fracture of your self-trust and trust in other people where they don't believe you. How can you create beautiful relationships if you cannot trust someone?
The people pleasing I relate with. How did you get through? Where are you at currently with that?
I mean, to be honest with you, this is, for me, it's like a little shame around this, because it wasn't until maybe 3-4 years ago when I actually learned to create boundaries in all areas of my life. You know, maybe about 13 years ago, I started the healing journey for myself when I was around 30. And I started to heal different wounds from my past, but I was still kind of a people pleaser. And it wasn't until 3 or 4 years ago, really my wife brought me this, because she is really good at being direct with people, not mean or nasty, but just like, no, I don't want to do that.
My wife too.
You know, no, that's not for me. No, I'm not going to do that. And here's what
every time that I'm with her and she does it, I'm like,
how do you do that, right? Yeah. Because I grew up wanting people to like me.
Yeah.
Right? Wanting people to like me and accept me and love me. But I didn't accept myself. So I was out of alignment. I was fractured, which means I need to get back in alignment with me and love and accept myself. And as long as my wife loves me, that's really all I need. You know, it's like, sure, you want your good friends to love you and this and that, but it's like, I don't need the world to like and love me anymore. It's nice. I like it. It's cool. But it's almost like I made decisions based on, will people like me, without even really knowing it. You know what I mean? It's like, I wasn't consciously thinking, I'm going to do this so they like me. It was just the wound was speaking. Say yes, do that, overcommit, you know. And not the way we do it now. We're yes and, because it's like we want to give, but more because I need people to like me, because I'm wounded.
Yeah, where is it coming from?
Yeah. And so in the last 3 or 4 years, I learned this from my wife, and it has been like a psychological death of the old self of me, of an old identity. Again, talk about letting go of an identity, where I went through a rampage. I went through like 6 to 12 months where I was just like, not blocking people, but I was like calling people up and saying, you're not my friend. And here's why. And you're not a good friend. And you've done this and you've done that.
It was a weird call when you told me.
Weird. Yeah.
I was like,
but you know, it's like, I'm in a lot of these like group chats and these masterminds. We're talking about masterminds. Yeah. And you probably have the same thing of like industry people. You go to these events and whatever. And I was in this really powerful industry group chat, right? That's just the biggest people in my industry, right?
Yeah.
Most famous, the most successful, the most influential. And there was probably, 30 people in this chat or something. And there's maybe like 4 or 5 people that I just didn't jive with anymore. That was just like, gosh, I keep keep saying giving to them, and I'm just feeling off about it. They keep doing things that doesn't feel in alignment. I feel like they're taking advantage, and they're doing it. They don't reach out to me only when they want something from me. It just felt like these things over and over for years. But then they act like they're my friend, right? And I was just like, it just doesn't feel right anymore. And they're doing certain things. They're saying something behind my back, and they're trying to do. Didn't like it, but I would never address it. And so I'd always have this little resentment. You know what I mean? And finally, I was just like, you know what, guys, I'm removing myself from this group. I want everyone to be successful in here. I have no bad blood, but there's a few people that I'm out of alignment with. And in a spirit of trying to continue to heal in my life, I'm practicing boundaries. And I essentially shared this.
Sounds like a nightmare to me.
It was terrifying.
I would never
like shaking,
this
right?
I'm shaking you telling the story. Right. I hate this.
And it confronted so much in me. Afterwards, so many people in the group texted me wow, you did exactly what I've been trying to do for years. Thank you for leading the way. And then I got texts from all these other people that were like, hey, just want to make sure we're good. The people that knew something was off. Mm-hmm. They actually came to me and say, hey, I want to make sure we're good. And I was like, we're not good. And even just the idea of saying that in the past, the fear of judgment ruled my life. Yeah. You understand? Mm-hmm. So that was the thing that I needed to go all in on, because that's where I was doubting myself the most.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's not fun, especially if that's how you're identified as for most of your life. So you have to create a new personality to create a new personal reality. And when I started creating those boundaries, it was extremely challenging. And then it's gotten easier over time. And I've learned how to stand up for me in moments of life better now. It doesn't mean I'm always perfect. It doesn't mean it's every moment, but it's and what I'm talking about is courage. Another word maybe you don't even have down there, but it's and maybe this is kind of positive thinking or whatever, but courage is the thing most people lack in their lives. The courage to address an uncomfortable conversation, the courage to just reflect, is money good or is money bad? Let me look into this. The courage to look at all the things that you're afraid of, the courage to speak up against violence or abuse, the courage to speak up for what's right or what's wrong in your mind, even though you're going to get criticized for it by the other side. Courage is the thing we lack the most. And the more courageous we are, I believe the better connected we are to ourselves and to other people. And that's what I keep hearing you say is I want to be more connected to the people in my life, not distant. And if I have 1,000 times more money, is that going to make me less connected? Yeah. If I am 10 times more platinum, are people still going to love me and accept me, or am I going to be too distant? You have, I'm not saying that's true for you, but there's something little that's a belief still. Yeah. That might be holding you back. I'm not saying it is.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It might be. And it's just the same things for me. There's a lot of room where I want to create in the world, but I'm okay, how is it going to be received? I still don't know. It's all a process, and healing is a journey. There's a moment you can get back into alignment, and then you're going to go take action from that aligned place, and life's going to happen. And people are going to trigger you again. And it's do I go back or do I stay in alignment and use courage to lean in?
Yeah. I think we're coming to the end here. I love you desperately. This community that we're building, and it's a lot of people that come to my shows. And the idea of the podcast was, how can we all better show up in the world? Is there anything we haven't touched on that you would like to, a really sincere group of people that are trying to show up better for themselves and each other?
I think go back to a wise man once said in the song, you just got to keep your head up. And, maybe that's too positive thinking, but it's showing up, keeping your head up is really I think here's something I'll say. And this goes in with it. I lived with a lot of shame most of my life, that it was hard to look people in the eyes when I was younger. Because I couldn't look myself in the eyes in the mirror without knowing the wrong that I felt about me. It doesn't mean I was doing horrible things in the world or something, but I just knew I wasn't living, a great life internally, And there's a moment when I started healing when I was in my early 30s, there was a moment where I was at a workshop where I opened up about the thing I was most ashamed of, which was being sexually abused by a man when I was 5 years old that I didn't know. It wasn't a family member. It was the babysitter's son, who was probably 16 at the time. And no one knew this about me for 25 years, but I always knew this about me. And I always knew something was wrong with me. That's how I felt, interpreted it, right? Yeah. And I felt like if anyone knew this, I would be outcasted from life No one would be my friend. No one would accept me. No one would love me. No one would like me. No one would play with me. No one would hang out with me. No one would do business with me. It was a belief. It wasn't true, but it's what I created and identified as. And I remember when I shared this for the first time, I was in a small group setting. I was at a workshop that helped me kind of like learn the process of healing. And I was looking down on the carpet similar to this because I couldn't look at anyone in the eyes. And so I'm going back to this idea of keep your head up, because I get chills thinking about it, because if you're able to look in someone's eyes and reveal yourself, the person you love, your wife, your kids, your friends, and reveal yourself, that is really what it's all about. That is connection. And being able to reveal yourself, knowing that you might be ashamed of yourself, knowing that there's parts of you that are ugly, parts of you that you regret, parts of you that you don't like or didn't like. And that when you can keep your head up and reveal yourself, that is the best way you can show up. You show up for you show up for the little boy or the little girl inside of you that needed someone like you to be there for them when you doubted yourself. And then you can connect and relate to other people around you better. And I think when you can do that, no one can hurt you because you no longer hurt you.
That's a really good answer. Anything easier?
Let's just be positive and light today, you know?
Oh
it's
my
just,
gosh, it's really beautiful.
be positive.
Man, I'm honored to have you as a friend.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Your friendship means a lot to me.
Grateful for you, man.
Keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
My man.
It's really good in the world.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for
Andy.
being here.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much for listening. My way of showing up each episode is by writing a bespoke song for someone in this community. You have all been sending me incredible voicemails, and I have been weeping ever since this started. So here's this week's song.
Hi, I wanted to submit to have a song about my husband. August, he got laid off from his job unexpectedly. I was 8 months pregnant, and we had our baby girl, and then he still hasn't found a job, and he's just been really struggling with that and kind of going through this whole identity crisis, trying to figure out what's next. But he has always been the one who shows up for everyone else, and he's always been the positive one. And so this has been a struggle for him, and no one really knows. It would just bring so much joy for him to have something written for him, some encouragement.
All right, my man, this one's for you. From one dad to another, I love you, keep pushing. This little reminder that you are more than what you do for work. I know it hurts, but deep down you know it's true. My man, you are a good man. Your wife, she would not lie. And the work will come, but don't downplay what it is you actually provide. You are the sun, you are the rock, you are the world, you are the dad. You are the one that they watch, the best example that they have. And then they get knocked down, and we know they will. Every one of us do. You will teach them that you are more than what you do. You will teach them that you are more than what you do. You'll say that the times get hard and the nights get dark, but the sun always shines through. 'Cause you are more than what you do.
Thank you so much for showing up for us. If you want to be a part of the community we're building here and you want to support the show, please go follow me, Andy Grammer, on YouTube and Showing Up with Andy on socials. I've invited all of you to leave a voicemail nominating someone who's shown up for you, shown up for their community, or just needs a little pick-me-up, and I will select a voicemail and write a song for every single episode. To leave a voicemail, call 917-540-0849. Thank you so much. I love you all so much. Keep showing up.